Hi everyone, this is Killshot99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 2. Wow, what an episode. I am super hyped. The only thing better than this episode is when someone comes into the stream and has no idea which YouTuber they're watching and accidentally calls me Ronnie and something about a daughter, and that is absolutely, no. Sorry, you guys are in the wrong stream, but thank you anyway for being here and attending. Very good episode. I've seen a couple of you kind of go back and forth on it, but I'll say, there's some people, it's not going to meet their expectations, but I will tell you, knowing what happened and still seeing it play out and digging down to the storyline is really what we do. It might not be for everybody, but I'm going to say most people, they like how it's coming full circle. We're getting the Maggie story. We're getting the Michonne story. We see how Jesus is playing out. Eugene's ownership. We got some new partnerships taking place. Aaron losing his arm tonight. I mean, a lot of stuff happened. If you're not kind of taking notes and looking at it individually, and I'll also tell you, did anyone else notice the paintings in Gregory's office were signed by Anne? Did you guys catch that? Is there a little bit of drama there? Do you think those paintings happened afterwards and they were sent up to Maggie? She's doing a little bit of that work, or you think that there was some anonymous stuff going on back in the day? That was a little bit. It seemed really obvious. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there was a history between Greg and Anne, or it could just be that there's some bartering going on. I mean, I just thought it was kind of cool. But a lot of stuff like that. I have to ask everybody. We'll start out, and Daddy Corleone, I haven't even done my full deep dive into the hidden clues. There's a lot more stuff like that. I think, what was the most shocking part? I want just a complete raw reactions from you guys right now. What was it that either you knew was going to happen, or it was done better than what you thought, or you just had no idea it was going to go down that way? I got to say, I'm going to give you mine, was when, when Justin grabbed a handful of sand and threw it in Daryl's eyes. I was like, this dude is a dirty fighter. He should have been banished just for that, just for cheating. Get up and punch him. Don't throw sand in somebody's eyes. What a wimp move. Julie says the helicopter. Samantha Coombs says the ending. Daryl beat down. I will tell you though, I mean, Justin can take a beating. I mean, he got skilleted. You like the Mother Goose Code, Drama King? A lot of good stuff, though. I mean, for anywhere from Enid taking off Aaron's arm. And this is what I liked about this episode. Some episodes where they do something very well and we all focus in on that one thing. Tonight, there were a lot of different things that appealed to a lot of different people. So, got this super chat. Let me get this super chat in the house. This is going to be Kobe James, and Kobe James says that he thinks it's a rot that did that. Possibly. We're going to talk about that in 1 second, Kobe, so I won't get too far away from that. Julie's got hashtag skilletface. Is it trending yet on Twitter? Legend Talion says the jail stairway leading to Earl, not Negan, was a nice surprise. And I thought that too, because Earl actually built the cell, and I thought, the stairs going down, there was going to be something with Negan. And I know some people, I thought I read a comment earlier, Negan hasn't changed. He hasn't changed. I think he has changed. I really do. If you've watched a lot of our streams, you know that we said they're going to give us the idea that Negan has not changed, but he has. I mean, he hasn't done anything except talk and defend himself and sort of antagonize Rick a little bit, but don't give up on that just yet. June Smith with a super chat. June says, kills. Maggie redeemed himself tonight. I think Dwight killed Justin, and Rick's convo with Aaron made me think of Bob. Awesome episode. All right, June, so we're going to make this the super chat spotlight because June's got a lot of good stuff in here. So what I want all of you to do is help me respond to June. So the first thing that I want to ask is, Did Maggie really redeem herself? Give me your thoughts. Maggie redemption, yes or no? Jake says only a little. Joseph says no. Viola says yes. Toxic G says yes. All right. So I'm going to say, June, we're probably going to be Judge. Fluff says yes. Legend says yes. Not fully. I'm going to say our audience is probably about 50-50 on this. Maybe 60-40 that she has redeemed herself. I'm going to say she has not. 2 reasons. 1, she still tells Michonne, when Michonne says, hold on, I'll give you the quote. Maggie says, I'm willing to discuss common rules. And Maggie says, I'm willing to discuss common laws. And Michonne says, well, that's good because most laws that are common laws will be good for Hilltop anyway. And she goes, well, something of, let's hope so. I don't think that's redemption, first of all. She's still saying, if it's a common law that works for us, we'll do it. But if it doesn't, we won't. So that's just lip service. That's I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to give a little bit, but I'm still not letting go. That's number 1. Number 2, if you saw the sneak peek for next week's episode, Daryl and Maggie are walking with gas cans, and you hear Maggie say, Rick had his chance. Now we do it, or whatever, something along those lines. But anyway, it was pointed, and I think she is walking with gas cans toward Negan. Now, maybe she's walking with gas cans to go back and put in the tractor. But I just think there's more to it. And Daryl is still not on board with what Rick's going to do. So, June, I'm going to say I still think there's a chance. Not totally burning down your theory because I like it. And it's not my place to disprove your theory because it's your theory. But just my personal thought is it's too early to quite say redemption. All right, and a couple more things with a follow-up to that. I think Dwight killed Justin. We're going to talk about Justin in 1 minute, so we got a couple people very interested in that. I'll get back to it. And, oh man, Rick's convo with Aaron, it was deep. That was kind of moving, but I think the bigger part of that conversation was how chill Aaron is. Aaron's just, hey, this is the way it goes. And he's tough. He's a lot tougher than he's appeared to be in the past. Got Northside Queen says, theory, I think a whisper may be using a missing savior's face and that they may be who killed Justin. Too many supplies and people missing. So, a lot of people are very interested in that last scene. So, Northside Queen, I only disagree because of this. I still think it's too early for the Whisper storyline. Just based on what we hear from the spoilers. I feel like it's way too soon for them to reveal themselves. And I felt more along the lines, this is someone taking supplies for themselves. This almost feels like Strand, right? This feels like a Strand action, like someone's just after themselves. So the question that I would ask is, if we know saviors are missing, Alden told Rick saviors are missing. We know that the fuel did not make it from the sanctuary to Hilltop. And it appeared to be someone that Justin knew. Hey, you're going to get yourself killed. Be careful. You're about to get yourself killed. It seemed to be someone he knew. Who would have all of those things in common? It feels, Pete M., I agree with you. The only thing about wearing someone's face is I'm not sure you can really wear someone's face. That's the only pushback I would give to just some of the theories out there. I mean, I know it's cool for a whisper to cut a person's face off, but how you go about that and not, the eyes, the nose, there's just some things. Well, Candy, even in the movie Face Off, it takes a pretty experienced surgeon to do that. We might, look, maybe, but we might just be looking into that a little bit much. Dark in the woods and didn't notice that it was Heath's face and half of it was, it's a gross concept. I get it. Look, I'm not the expert at removing faces and wearing them around, so I don't know, the small intricacies of that and how it looks and what intoxicated level you need to be at and how dark the light needs to be in order not to understand it. It just seems a little, that coupled with all the other things going on, I think it's too early. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst storyline we've ever seen. All right. We are going to touch into a couple other theories, a couple other reactions, but we got a lot of new people here. So since we do, I do want to just ask a few favors here. 300, 400 people in this chat that are kind of reviving. If you guys could all do me a favor, hit that like button. If you enjoy the channel, if you're having a good time, like it like you mean it. Like it like Jadis likes Father G. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. We want to know either way. So take a stand, make a decision. If you just you're lost, you were looking for another YouTube place, maybe you were drinking like Justin and it's like, oh, we're in the 909 chat. Give it a thumbs down if that's what you want to do. But make a choice. There you go. We got somebody being honest. Thanks for that thumbs down. I appreciate that. All right, let's talk a little bit about, I got a couple topics that I want to shift around here. Daryl protecting Aaron. We saw it once again. We saw Daryl. He was protecting Henry. Then he's protecting Aaron. And that's kind of, that's his personality. That's what Daryl does. But I got to be honest with you. After that scene, how many people were relieved to see Rick have the cop conversation with Justin? I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Because, last week it was just kind of like he seemed to be begging Maggie for what she was going to do. And today, Rick actually jumped in there, broke up the fight, stood up to Daryl. We on the same team, Rick? I don't know. You tell me. I mean, look, I've been hyping that up so much ever since I saw it in the trailer. This is my favorite Daryl Rick exchange. So many words in that exchange. But Rick was standing up to Daryl in a brotherly sort of way. He broke up the fight, and then he finally said, look, you're going to stand here and listen to what I have to say. And he did. Now, as much as I don't like Justin, let me say this. He's not the worst savior I've ever seen. I'm not saying that you should like him. I'm not saying you should defend him. But I'm going to tell you what his crimes are. He didn't get up at the sanctuary and paint over what Daryl wanted him to paint. He's lazy. Derek, I think Jared was definitely much worse. You're right. He was thirsty. He's a big dude that was working. He no doubt, he was working, and he's as strong as anybody there. And he wanted a little extra water. So, should he have picked on Henry? No, he shouldn't have. Then he says to Daryl, look, I'm tired of you guys treating me like a child, telling me what to do. So him and Daryl had a fight. Threw dirt in Daryl's eyes. That was dirty. Wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen him do. He was lazy. And he wasn't in the right place and then lied about it, and something bad happened to Aaron. So, was he out there killing people? No. Now, can we say process of, we narrow it down and he's indirectly related? Yeah, I mean, if we really want to do that. But in Justin's defense, he had no problem saying, peace, I'm out of here, Rick. I don't care. I'm not even staying till tomorrow. I'll leave tonight. So, he's a tough guy. He stands his ground, crosses the line a little bit, but not the worst savior I've ever seen. And this is why I bring this up. Because Justin is not walking around looking for people to kill. So when he's walking down the street, I feel like he recognized the person, and it's somebody, it's not like Daryl's out there. You understand? So when we're talking about, like earlier in the week, we were talking about, well, maybe Daryl killed him. Probably not the way his reaction was, like, what are you doing out here? You're going to get yourself killed. So I don't think it was somebody that he had a beef with. And it didn't appear to me like it was somebody that he didn't know. I think it's somebody he trusted that has their own agenda. So it would definitely sound like a savior. Or Dwight. I felt it would be more likely to be Dwight or an ex-savior. And that's kind of the seed I want to plant with anybody. I want to start to think of, like, who could be out there? Julia, it's possible, but I just think we're a little bit over anxious on the Whisper storyline. I can't believe that if there's another 3.5-year time skip, that they're out there right there watching them and killing them this early on. That's just part of the story that's hard for me to understand. Are they gonna be killing them for 3.5 years? Like picking them off little by little? Maybe. I mean, it's possible. It just seems that's I don't know that we have enough to go on that yet. And if it's Lydia, I don't think I don't know how old Lydia would be before the time skip, but even if she's like 10 or 11, I think that's, we could throw names out of a hat right now. You got people saying it's Henry, it's Sherry, it's Dwight. So, Sheila's saying it's Enid. We talked earlier in the week about, maybe Daryl did it, but I don't think Daryl at this point. So, I can say one thing we can safely say by how all over the page we are. We don't know. We honestly have no clue. And, a lot of times we do these streams and we make predictions when we have at least a little bit more to lean on. I mean, I don't know that if it was Henry, he would have had that reaction. It'd probably been like, get out of here, kid. Go get me some more water or something. I don't think it would have been. He seemed friendly and accepting toward whoever he was looking at. And he had his weapon drawn. Now, let me also say this. If it were something like, even if he was looking up and it was something like Beta, I don't know. I don't know that would have been the reaction. Like, what are you doing out here? You can get yourself killed. It'd probably been like, what in the, it'd probably been shock. Beta's probably wearing like a half mask or something, and he's bigger. I don't know. I feel like it was just somebody he knew. We will, we'll talk about it during the week. And I think it's going to be one of those things. We'll watch it. We'll replay it. We'll see if there's any. I think they were careful, though, to not give us much to go on this week. I'm going to ask for, I want to get a couple more reaction to this because we are doing this live. Whole lot of love tonight. I got to tell you, the Jadis reaction to the helicopter, am I the only person that thought she was afraid that maybe she likes her life? And like, oh my God, she looked terrified. All right, here's the thing that I have to remind you of. Because we're talking about time skips. This is very important. And I want to get your reaction to this. Jadis, Rick, and Negan saw the helicopter 18 months ago. So whoever is in that helicopter is still flying around and still has fuel. That's important. They're still out there. Now, Jadis may or may not have been in contact with them over the last year and a half. But if she hasn't, whoever is there is watching them, is looking over their group. So for her to recognize that, the other thing is, it's a little unbelievable for me to think that she's on watch and nobody else that was either sitting around the campfire or looking out of their tent or, maybe they just had to take a walk late at night, is not looking up saying, what the hell is that? Hey, everybody. So it's a little bit of a surprise to me that more people have not noticed that there are flying things around and that there are other people. I'd be like, Rick, this bridge is fine, but there's a helicopter up there. If there's a helicopter, that means they have fuel. If they have fuel, they have probably some doctors. They probably have some technology. They have some things. And here we are trying to build a bridge because the bridge is the gateway to the future. No, that helicopter is the gateway to the future. But we're not supposed to look that far into it. But we do. That's what we do here. But Jadis looked terrified. So, what is Jadis afraid of? Let's take what we may or may not know out of the Commonwealth. Because that helicopter might be, it might not be, it might... What else could it be? She did not appear to me like, hey, yeah, they need to land because I need to introduce them to some people. She looked like, I'm pretty happy moving on, and they're coming to collect the rent money. See, Clark 007, I agree with that. She owes them. I mean, wouldn't it be a little crazy if she owes them 12 people that Negan was going to give her because people are a resource, and now they're coming back to take some people? Jadis is into something. See, E. Beach, I'm right with you on that. Ann owes him some people to experiment for a cure. You know what? I got to throw it's like there's a conspiracy bone, and I have to throw it out to the rabid pack. Did the helicopter and this potential storyline, does it give any hope that Rick might still be flown away in hell? Yeah, there you go. All right, I knew Samantha W would take the bait. I was setting it up. How many other people feel there's still a possibility that helicopter is Rick's exit off the show? There you go, June. June's like, yes. We got yes, possibly, absolutely, of course. Yes and no, sure it does. I mean, we'll see. Lakeisha's like, hell yeah, there it is. It's still flying around. It's a big deal. I love it. I'm still open-minded toward it. It might happen that way. We will talk about it. Emmy, are you saying maybe? Emmy, think with your head, not with your heart. That helicopter touched every one of our hearts. What scares me about it is that this thermometer that goes back and forth, and every time we get a little bit of hope, I just think it's going to be that much harder if we lose that hope. I want to be optimistic. I really do. And I'm right there with you, which is why I asked the question. I wouldn't have asked if I wasn't feeling a little bit of it as well. But somehow, if that helicopter doesn't mean anything to Rick and Rick dies, I'm going to be behind a microphone after episode number 5 trying to do therapy sessions while we're all trying to cope with the loss of Rick Grimes. So they're toying with us. They're playing with our emotions. Ecom, same helicopter Rick saw in season 1. I don't think it's the same helicopter, but I think it is. Well, no, because the helicopter Rick saw in season 1 was in Atlanta. So I don't know the helicopters like going back and forth, but I think it's a callback to the helicopter. I mean, I definitely think so. And then the governor had a helicopter, and then Jadis is seeing a helicopter. So, I mean, it's important from a callback perspective. unrelated more than likely. Yeah. And the A, I just still have this sneaking suspicion that the A stands for alpha. I think we're so maybe not eager. I mean, I think because we know the whispers are coming. That we might be looking for whisper clues that aren't there yet. My instinct just tells me the A is for alpha. She's involved in some type of operation. I don't think she's walking around in mask right now. I think that they've got their own little deal set up, and she takes people and they cut their faces off and do all of those things. We don't know an alpha backstory. And then in 3.5 years, we're going to find it. They don't want you in their era. I mean, it appears that civilization is de-evolving. It's not like going forward. And maybe that's what they figured out. They've been trying to do experiments. They've been trying to find the cure. They've been trying to live among them. And, their next step might be, hey, we got to infiltrate and understand them and see if that changes. I mean, the whispers have to have a purpose. I think the whispers are so primitive, and Rick is so set on a new beginning, that maybe the whispers have already figured out a new beginning is not possible, and they've evolved so much that they have to go backwards. That's like a paradox, isn't it? Just food for thought. I'm going to check out a couple comments here. And Toledo Magna's group as well, but once again, I'm just kind of handcuffed by the time skip. Yeah, Cammie, my point with that is going backwards to advance is we almost saw a little bit of it with Jadis, right? So, Jadis lived in a junkyard, and they lived very primitive while other people were trying to advance. And I think if you look at, let's say, Rick's group is advanced, and the rebuilding, or Georgie's group is advanced, and Jadis's group might have been figuring it out. They just kind of take whatever they need. That there could be another group out there, almost like a cult group, being the Whispers. They're like, we're going to take it a step further. The only real way to survive is to live among them, is to see what they do, is to gradually find a cure. I don't know. I mean, it's something I'm throwing out there. We got a couple super chats while we jump into that. So we got June Smith says, Kills. Just wanted to give a shout out to Michonne tonight. She's a badass and true leader. I am absolutely right there with you. And Kobe James says Maggie's going to leave with Georgie. So let me ask the follow-up question. Kobe, I think it's a good prediction. I would not disagree with that. I think it's a possibility. I do think Maggie's leaving regardless. I think Maggie gets the Michonne story arc. I don't know that Pete and Sadiq are going to be waiting with a boat to take Maggie, but Georgie would make a little bit more sense. So I do want to follow up with June Super Chat. And look, we talked about it this morning with Maggie and Michonne. How many people were super impressed by Michonne's level-headedness, her desire to start a brand new, to think globally, and could really see her and Aaron stepping up big time tonight. Those are two people we talked about that we said if there were two people that could start to take over for Rick at some point, it would be Michonne and also Aaron. And I saw the toughness in Aaron, and I saw a side of him that I really liked. But Michonne analyzing and giving her thoughts and stepping up, she's every bit, to me, the leader that Rick is. I thought she was incredible. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. And, it's good seeing people, and see, that's something we agree on. It's something we almost all buy into. Who killed Justin at the end, we're all over the place. That's why I don't think we can come up with a very strong theory at this point. But Michonne taking over, I think that's a super strong theory, and we're starting to see some visual evidence to support that. So Ecom says, is the chopper from government group that survived D.C.? Well, Jadis is from the area. Okay, this we know. And if she was being truthful, she was a teacher. I mean, that could have been a front. Look, she might have worked for a government group. She might have worked for one of those top secret, or she might have worked in the Pentagon, maybe. She was familiar with D.C., so maybe the Museum of Natural History was her cover-up. Hey, I used to bring my students here. She might have been some decision maker in the Pentagon and knew the people flying the helicopter. I mean, she knows the people flying the helicopter, and to your point, it's very possible they're flying out of D.C., and we know that Jadis is not a relocation. Like, look, Rick is from Atlanta. Most of those people from Atlanta, and they moved up here. Jadis is from this area. So we can probably go with it either way. At this point, we can only take her at her word, though. She was a teacher at some point, and she brought her students there. But, I mean, she did mention secrets tonight. So, let's wait to see a little bit more of that story. What if Jadis is a whisper? I floated that theory that there could be a couple whispers hanging out with the groups right now. And the comic fans don't like that because they don't want to say, okay, well, the whispers aren't going to live among them. But the only thing that I would say to that is, if the whispers have not been fully formed, then they're not really whispers. They could be people that'll join up with them or change sides, or I don't know how long it takes for the whispers to become the whispers. One thing that we know is we can probably go back and look at the timeline of how long the zombie apocalypse has been going on. So we know the whispers weren't whispers before the zombie apocalypse. So it wasn't like they've been doing this for 30 years. So if we can narrow down the time frame, look, we can say, does anybody have a valid number they want to put on to say, based on the show today, how long has the zombie apocalypse been going on? Give me your best guesses based on what you've heard and what you've seen. So from the time the show started to today, 4 years? All right, so 4 years. So based on 4 years, I would say it's unlikely the whispers even exist. That's the part we're not thinking about. We see these characters introduced in the comics, and we assume that they've just always been there. So we know they haven't existed for 4 years. Because that would mean on day number 1, somebody's like, okay, hold on. We don't care about our loved ones. We're not going to try to survive. We're not going to find food. We're not going to do what everybody else does. We're just all going to get this big group and start wearing whisperer masks and start wearing mask, not whisper, mask of people. I don't think they just thought of that on day number 1. So did it take them a year? Did it take them 2 years? They may not have even done it yet. Maybe that's what they're starting to do. Okay, I'll give you that. But let me say this, and I'm going to go back to either, I don't know if it was a super chat or a statement a little bit earlier. I think it might have been Lakeisha, or someone said that they're hyping this up to be the whispers. So let me say this. I will discuss that. We will talk about it during this week. But if it is, it's the beginning of the whispers right now. So I'll agree with your theory as long as you kind of agree that they're not fully established. They're not what we're going to see them as. They're newly formed. And these disappearances are the first start of them, and then once a time skip happens, they'll be in full effect. Is that agreeable or understandable? Because that's kind of what I feel like. It makes a little bit more sense that, wait a minute, there's a person missing here, a person missing there. What happened to this person? Oh, is it the hilltop? No. Who did it? Okay, so it looks like they're gaining some steam. So newly formed, just figured it out. Now, with that being said, they might not be primitive at this point. They could still be part of this helicopter group. They could still be part of... I think the Whispers are going to be a military type of operation that have went rogue. The helicopter's not going to last forever, and the supplies aren't, and they can just kind of fly around, look at people, and, you see the helicopter flying around. Could be observing, could have people on the ground. All right, there's one, take him. Boom, done. So maybe it's in partnership with that. Well, whether you agree or disagree, here's my question. If you're not some organized operation and you're just getting started, which they may or may not be, how the hell are you going to get 300 people that all have a common goal? Because you ain't out there recruiting. And so give me a different theory. I don't mind not agreeing, but give me a bounce back. Because, okay, I get it. You're snatching a few people. But Negan couldn't control a group of 300 people. Rick can't control a group of 300 people. Maggie can't control a group of 300 people. So you have got to be organized. You've got to have people that are not just popping into your group. Third Eye, you can't really tell me what the Whisperers are because you are in the exact same situation I am with the Whisperers. You can't take a comic arc and tell me that's what we're going to see. Otherwise, we could probably figure it out, but there is no Whisperer backstory either. So it's kind of hard to say that they're going to be exactly what they are. There can certainly be a spin put on that. I mean, we're not seeing things the same way we see it in the comic. We're not seeing these helicopters fly over at the same time we see the Whispers. It's different. If you don't believe it's different, we've got Michonne and Maggie possibly switching arcs. We got Michonne taking on Andrea's comic arc. We got Aaron losing his arm and not Rick. So we can't pick and choose when it's convenient. We have to pick and choose based on what we see in front of us. And what we see is just on the show. Yeah, but I don't know, Third Eye, if that's going to translate to television. It could. You could possibly see that. But still, we got to see the evolution of it. And we haven't seen the evolution. All we see right now is a few people disappearing. Certainly. I don't disagree with that. A pre-apocalyptic cult that transitioned once the zombie apocalypse happened. Yeah, it's a backstory I can follow. But I can follow that they're just getting started at this point. And I need a little bit more data. And, once we get a little bit more, I think right now we're just we're throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping it sticks. Could be a cult, could be a former religious cult, could be something that's very organized. But having the helicopter, having Georgie, and having the whispers it's confusing to say the least. And keep in mind, a lot of this stuff has to be edited for television. They can still be evil without being disgustingly evil, like in the comic. No doubt, Julie. I think they're going to be evil beyond anything that we've ever seen. And super, super excited to see that. We got just a ton of people still here. We are fired up talking about The Walking Dead tonight. Awesome episode. So I'm going to throw it out there to the group. I got to get a follow-up rating. Now that we've talked about it, now that we've talked about some highlights, I went into this week giving it a 10, saying this is going to be one of the best episodes. I'm going to tell you, this did not disappoint. I am absolutely sticking with it. I thought it was a 10. I thought there was enough mystery, enough intrigue, enough story, good leadership. We saw Rick get his backbone back for a change. Absolutely loved it, and I just think they're going to build on it the next couple weeks, that it's just going to stay. It's been a while since I think we started out and we sort of hit this peak. I am really enjoying the season. So much more that we're going to talk about all during the week. Do want to remind everybody, we will be back here at 9:30 tomorrow night doing a little bit of recap and talking about, we're probably going to do a little bit more whisper dialogue too, because I know everybody's super stoked about that, but we are going to go more scene by scene and analyze this a little bit more. So I want to thank everybody for being here. You guys are absolutely amazing. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, hang out with us. I've seen a lot of new people in our chat tonight, and also just want to say thanks to everybody that is... Come on, man. Just don't type that. First of all, Kinchman, it's just, come on. Just grow up a little bit. Those people that are new, this is at the end of the, I'm completely distracted by that, Steph. He caught me completely off guard. Luckily, it didn't show up. So those of you that are new, once we get to the end of the stream, we just like to do a lot of shout-outs. So give me a quick 999 so I can recognize as many people as possible. Do want to say in the top left corner, we got the Patreons, the people that support the channel. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. There's a link down below if you're interested in becoming a Patreon. Also top right, we got our sponsors, the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, and we had a lot of super chatters tonight too. So want to give a special shout out to the people that were super chatting and freezing their comments up there. So we got Kobe James, Legend, Italian, June Smith, Northside Queen, Ecom, and some of those were multiple super chats as well. So thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Appreciate you being here, and you can see a ton of people. So June Smith, Clark 007, Darlene Rainig, Third Eye Chakra, G. Hartley, Viola, Tracy Dees, Donnie Thompson, Chris Riddle, all of you that are typing, we got like 200 people have not hit the like button yet. So if you like what we do, make sure you hit that like button as well. And once people start getting on these videos and commenting, they're going to be watching the playback. Check out their comments and respond to their comments as well. Sergeant Chosen One, thanks for being here. It's Victories, Dwayne Willis, Chris Rainig, Lady Luther, thanks for being here. Cammy, Green74, BK Harp. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Love the passion with you guys. And just keep in mind, when we get theories out there we disagree, we're not disagreeing vehemently. I mean, we're going to disagree and throw some passion out there. But at the end of the day, we're going to respect everybody's thoughts, everybody's theories. And like Green74, so you heard it here first. He may absolutely be on to it. And I hope so. Because the more people we have interact, we definitely nail some of these things down. Phil D, thanks for being here. Samantha Coombs, eBeach72, Storm3851, RC7799, Drama King, Walani, Anthony Solari, Elite Pro, Sheila Mack, thank you so much. Captain Jack Sparrow, Fluff Salisbury, Samantha W, Carol Stevens, thank you so much. Everybody have a great night. All right. Those of you that are football fans, go watch the end of the football game. And thank you so much for everything that you guys do. And I will see everybody here tomorrow night at 9:30. Peace.